The PGA, the final major of the year, is underway. John Cook, Golf Channel analyst and multiple PGA Tour and PGA Tour Champions winner, finished runner-up on this course back in 1992 at the PGA out in St. Louis, and he joins us now on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. John, welcome to the show. How are you, pal?
I'm good, thank you. That back in '92, that was actually in color too. So that you go back and see, it's not black and white. It's actually in color.
Well, if we can watch it in color and you can remember vividly, give us a little insight on this actual course, as it's not one that jumps off the page when we think about major championships. But obviously, this is where the golf universe resides this weekend.
Yeah, it's a little unfamiliar, I think, to the golf fan. It has held the 1965 U.S. Open, also the '92 PGA, which I participated in, and that really is about it. They have a senior U.S. Open and a senior PGA here as well, but really not much that really jumps off the page to the golf fan. It's a wonderful golf course. It's long. It's a par 70, about a little over 7,300 yards. Zoysia fairways, bent greens that are a little bit stressed out right now, but the golf course is in wonderful shape. It's been raining. The fairways actually have dried out quite a bit, so it's a big boy golf course, and you look for the scores to be low because it's soft, it's very receptible, and it's ready to give up some low scores.
Yeah, John Cook with us on the Boardwalk Honda Hotline. John, that's what I wanted to ask you about, because you come off the U.S. Open where, par is a great score, what way the USGA wants it, or then you look at the British Open over at Carnoustie, and it was browned out fairways, difficult conditions is what they normally want at the British. What kind of environment, you mentioned the weather, what kind of environment do you expect for this PGA Championship?
Yeah, it's a whole different animal for sure. The U.S. Open there at Shinnecock was just survival. Par is a really good score, like you said. The Open Championship at Carnoustie, the golf ball just did not stop rolling till it either went into a bunker or it just ran out of momentum, because there was nothing on those fairways to stop it. And only 8 under par 1 on an incredibly difficult golf course. So that played difficult as well. Now they get to here and the PGA Championship, and it's going to be a score of 15 to 18, possibly even 20 under par, only because the golf course is very receptive. The fairways are 30 to 35 yards wide, and the zoysia grass, it's in perfect shape. The ball sits up like on a tee. So, I mean, you're just hitting if you drive the ball in the fairway, you really have, no excuse to miss a shot. Unless you just lose some concentration or lose trust or commitment in what you're doing, because the greens are very receptive. They're soft. They're going to be running no more than 11 on the stimp meter, which is about a foot to a foot and a half slower than the guys are used to. And a 180-yard shot is a 180-yard shot. It's just you fly at 180, it's going to stay right there. So soft conditions with these great players mean low scores.
All right. With that in mind, everybody always has their eye on Tiger, obviously, who's off to a rough start. But Spieth, he's had a rough season. Ricky Fowler seems like he's been scratching the surface. He's been right there every year.
Yeah.
Who are some of the names over the weekend our listeners should pay attention to?
Yeah, you're right about that. Tiger's had the uncomfortable start. He hasn't put the ball in play enough, so he's 3 over after his first 7 holes. You're right about Jordan Spieth, but Jordan Spieth, nothing would surprise me. He hasn't had the Jordan Spieth year that we're accustomed to, but he's a veteran at 25. I can tell you that. Nothing would surprise me with Jordan if he was there at the end of the week. But and you're right also about Ricky Fowler. He's just scratching that surface. I think that if there's someone that's going to win a first major championship, I think it could be Ricky. I think this golf course fits him really well. He drives the ball very straight. He hits he hits it far. Good iron player, great putter. Just has to stay away from the big numbers. But this golf course, like I said, is a big golf course. You got to look at Brooks Koepka. You have to look at Justin Thomas, and you have to look at Dustin Johnson. Those 3 right there, I think, would be my 1, 2, and 3. everything about this golf course fits each and every one of those players, and it wouldn't surprise me if all three of them are right there at the end.
Cookie, you just hit the nail on the head. Dustin Johnson, DJ, does it make you scratch your head a little bit that he's only got one major victory, that U.S. Open victory? And this course really does fit him, a guy that can flight the ball real high and land it soft.
That's exactly right. You hit it right there. It's he's such a great athlete, and he's going for 20 wins and a second major. That's a pretty small table when you get down to it on who has 20 wins and 2 majors. Yes, I'm really surprised that he doesn't have more. He's been in contention a lot of times in major championships, and with only one, it is kind of a head scratcher. I think he's learning from those experiences, and this next time that he gets in that situation, I think he closes the deal. I think he's Hall of Fame material waiting to happen, and you just don't win 20 times on tour, with no talent. I mean, he has it in every ounce of his body, and it would not surprise me if he comes out the winner and wins the second major championship.
John Cook with us, Golf Channel analyst, multiple PGA Tour and PGA Champions Tour winner, finished runner-up at 92 PGA to Nick Price there at Bellerive. Mike asked you, Cookie, about the golfers that we might see. I want to ask you about some of the holes. I'm a little bit of a golf geek. 6, 10, 11, 14. I mean, some of the 237-yard par 3 16th. Which hole do you think will be a game changer?
Oh, boy, I think that I did a piece yesterday, a little walk and talk thing with Reese Jones, who redesigned his father's golf course a few years ago, and it was very interesting to me. He said he didn't really want to do much to the front 9. He really wanted the opera to play out on the back 9, and once you get up on the ridge, he called it 14, 15, 16. That's kind of where the opera starts to crescendo, is what he kept talking about, and I'm going, wow, this is heavy. But I think that you're right. I think that the 14, 15, and 16 are really going to play out as important holes. And you mentioned that 16th hole, 240-yard par 3. You kind of hit downhill, back up the hill, and it's just a big green. It's a big hole, and it could very well determine the PGA Championship on Sunday, no doubt about it.
All right, the final major of the year. And, of course, we've talked with John Cook, who finished right there, second in 92 on this course, and we appreciate him joining us here on the Sports Bash. He's the Golf Channel analyst, and you can, of course, check out all the action this weekend. And on Sunday, we'll have final round coverage on 97.3 ESPN. John, it was a pleasure catching up with you. Thanks so much.
Anytime, guys. Enjoy the PGA Championship.